President Bongbong Marcos denies involvement in the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte at the House of Representatives, emphasizing that the executive branch has no role in the process. In a palace briefing on Thursday, February 6, Marcos was asked if he played a part in the Vice President's impeachment.
No, the executive cannot have a hand in the impeachment. Walang role ang executive sa impeachment. Of course, did we discuss it with the Speaker? Did we discuss it with the other congressman? Of course. And tinatanong, anong plano ninyo? Ano ba talagang gusto ninyong gawin? And that's it. Well, nandito na ito. Hindi na namin maiwasan.
The House of Representatives impeached Duterte on Wednesday, February 5, after 215 lawmakers signed and endorsed the fourth impeachment complaint against her. Presidential son and Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos was the first to affix his signature in the petition, while House Speaker Martin Romualdez was the last to sign. According to President Marcos, his son consulted him on the matter. Marcos emphasizes that once an impeachment complaint is filed, both chambers of Congress have no choice but to act on it. With this, he told his son to do his duty as a congressman.
So sabi ko sa kanya, the process has already begun. So it's your duty now to support that process. So do your duty. That's what I told you. Do your duty. You have to support the process. You are constitutionally mandated to carry out that process. And you are a congressman, so do your duty. That's what I told him. I didn't know you'd be the first to sign, though.
Among the issues cited in the fourth impeachment complaint against Duterte is the betrayal of public trust and commission of high crimes due to her threats to assassinate President Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and Speaker Romualdez. Senate President Chis Escudero questions why the Senate is being pressed to immediately act on the articles of impeachment filed against Vice President Sara Duterte when the House of Representatives took more than 2 months to act on it. At the Kapihan sa Senado Forum on Thursday, February 6, Escudero was asked to explain why the Senate did not immediately act on impeachment complaints upon its arrival in the Senate on Wednesday afternoon, February 5. Escudero points out that the first 3 impeachment complaints were stuck in the House for more than 2 months for these to be thoroughly checked by lawmakers.
Mahigit 2 buwan, hindi finorward ng Secretary General ang impeachment complaint sa tanggapan ng Speaker para i-refer sa plenary at sa Committee on Justice. Magkatabi lamang naman ang kwarto tulad sa Senado ng Secretary General at ng Speaker, ang Secretary ng Senate at ng Senate President. Bakit naman kami bigla sasabihang gumalaw umakto agad sa loob lamang ng ilang oras?
Escudero is referring to the 3 impeachment complaints filed in the House last December. The 4th complaint against Duterte was only initiated, passed, and transmitted to the Senate on Wednesday. Escudero also assures the public that the Senate would stay committed to fulfilling its mandate even if the chamber is in recess, explaining that they would use this time to review the Senate's rules regarding impeachment.
Ang impeachment process para sa akin, hindi mahalaga kung pabor kayo o kontra, hindi mahalaga kung ma-acquit o ma-convict. Ang mahalaga para sa akin, bilang tagapangulo ng Senado, maging maayos ito, sang-ayon sa batas, credible, kapanipaniwala, at magagawad ng hustisya. Pabor man yun sa opinyon ng mas nakararami o konti o hindi.
The Senate adjourned its session on Wednesday shortly after the House of Representatives transmitted the 4th impeachment complaint backed by 215 lawmakers. The Senate chief is almost certain that the impeachment bill against Duterte will be decided by the next Congress. According to Escudero, the Senate should be in session to convene an impeachment court that would try the case against Duterte. ACT-CIS Party List Representative Erwin Tulfo says he did not back the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte as there is a high chance that he may be elected senator in the May 2025 elections, which means he would be a senator judge during the trial. In a statement on Thursday, February 6, Tulfo says he did not affix his signature so that his judgment would be impartial should he win in the upcoming polls. Describing himself as a top contender in the senatorial elections, Tulfo says he may become one of the new senators tasked to judge the impeachment complaint against Duterte. Should he end up with a seat in the Senate, Tulfo vows to meticulously examine every piece of evidence presented before the body. Tulfo is leading the Pulse Asia and Social Weather Station surveys of the 2025 midterm elections set for May 12. In the November 2024 Pulse Asia polls, 62% of respondents picked Tulfo as one of the 12 senators they would vote for. Tulfo is also the top bet according to the January 2025 Strat-based SWS survey, with 45% of respondents choosing him. A 4th impeachment complaint was verified and sent immediately to the Senate on Wednesday, February 5, after 215 lawmakers endorsed it. Under the 1987 Constitution, an impeachment complaint could be forwarded to the Senate for a trial if over 1/3 of all House members signed and endorsed the petition. In this case, the fourth petition needed 102 signatures out of 306 total House members. The Senate adjourned its session on Wednesday without tackling the articles of impeachment against Duterte, with Senate Secretary Renato Bantug explaining the need to go over the document before presenting it to the plenary. Congress will resume its session on June 2. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission says a travel agency involved in issuing Philippine government documents to foreign nationals may be the missing link in the Senate probe into Philippine offshore gaming operations. In a press briefing on Thursday, February 6, PAOK Executive Director Gilberto Cruz says the agency conducted a joint entrapment operation on Wednesday, February 5 against travel and visa consultancy firm JRB Travel and Consultancy Services Incorporated. He says the operation led to the arrest of Rosalie Bermas Bolaños and Jaive Espolong Nobleta for illegally processing Philippine government identification cards for foreign nationals. Authorities found that the travel agency processed birth certificates, passports, and marriage certificates. Cruz cites one passport as an example which resembles what he describes as the Alice Go scheme.
Ito example nung sabihin na natin yung Alice Go scheme na ginawa. Nagsimula siya sa late registration ng certificate niya, birth certificate. Kinuha ito sa Cabanatuan City. And then, meron na rin siyang certificate of marriage. And then, passport.
Yung pangalan sir dun sa passport?
Yung pangalan sa passport, pangalan sa marriage certificate, tsaka birth certificate, isa na. Pilipino na.
While Cruz notes the government documents were genuine and authenticated by agencies like the Philippine Statistics Authority, he says the accuracy of their content and information remains in question. Cruz adds that the suspects were also arrested for impersonating PAOK personnel, as reported by 2 complainants. According to Cruz, the complainants, who were wives and partners of Pogo workers, were asked to pay large sums of money to supposedly secure their loved ones' release and prevent their deportation. Cruz describes the operation as a big-scale syndicate, suggesting that the travel agency likely had contacts inside various government agencies. With this, Cruz emphasizes the need for agencies to scrutinize their own personnel. The defense chiefs of the Philippines and the United States discussed South China Sea issues amid Beijing's recent encroachments into Philippine waters. In a readout, Pentagon spokesperson John Oliot says U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro had an introductory call to discuss defense cooperation between the two countries. According to the readout, the 2 defense heads discussed the importance of re-establishing deterrence in the South China Sea, including by working with allies and partners. The 2 leaders also discussed enhancing the capability and capacity of the armed forces of the Philippines. Hegseth likewise reaffirmed the ironclad commitment of the U.S. to the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, stressing its importance for maintaining a secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. In recent weeks, the Philippine Coast Guard has been monitoring the presence of Chinese vessels within the country's exclusive economic zone, including what is dubbed as China's monster ship, China Coast Guard 5901. The National Security Council previously said it was alarmed by Chinese Coast Guard patrols, which are growing closer to the Philippines shore. Beijing asserts sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea. But the 2016 arbitral award effectively dismissed China's sweeping claim and reaffirmed Manila's sovereign rights to the West Philippine Sea.